Imagine venturing deep into a cave, where total darkness surrounds you, and the only sound is the echo of your own breath. Suddenly, a whisper, a shadow moves. But you're the only one there, or so you thought. From eerie creatures to horrifying sounds that defy explanation. Today we're counting down 10 terrifying cave explorations caught on camera. And trust me, number 1 will leave you questioning everything. Now, let's begin. Number 10. The Screaming Abyss. Cliffhanger ending. A group of spelunkers in Mexico ventured into the Sótano de las Golondrinas, one of the deepest vertical caves in the world. As they descended deeper, their cameras captured something bone-chilling, a distant scream, echoing from below. At first, they assumed it was the sound of wind, but then, the scream changed pitch, becoming something that sounded human, but distorted, unnatural. They rushed to analyze their recordings, but here's the terrifying twist. The scream wasn't there in the audio playback. Did they hear something beyond human comprehension? Or was something inside that cave playing tricks on their minds? Stay with us, because what's coming next will make you question reality. Number 9. The Moving Shadows. Shocking twist. In 2017, a team of cave divers was exploring a flooded system in Russia. Everything seemed normal until one diver's flashlight flickered, and in that split second of darkness, the camera caught a shadow, moving against the rock wall. But here's where it gets worse. There was no one behind him. They thought it was a trick of the light, until the same shadow moved again, in a different direction. Panic set in. Their oxygen supply was running low, but something felt off, like they weren't alone. They swam as fast as they could to the surface, but when they reviewed the footage, the shadow didn't match their movements. Was it a trick of the water, or was something else lurking down there? Number 8. The Unseen Stalker. Cliffhanger ending. A team exploring Kentucky's Mammoth Cave experienced one of the most unsettling moments ever caught on camera. Deep inside, as they navigated a narrow tunnel, the camera's night vision picked up something standing just outside their flashlight's reach. They didn't see it at the time, but when reviewing the footage, a pale face was visible in the darkness, staring directly at them. But here's the real nightmare. This figure wasn't there when they turned around. When they returned to the same spot the next day, they found footprints. The cave had been closed off to visitors for months, so who, or what, was following them? Number 7. The Lost Child's Voice. Shocking ending. In 2019, a caving group in France's Gouffre-Berger cave reported hearing something they couldn't explain, the voice of a small child calling for help. They followed the sound deeper, believing someone was trapped. But as they moved forward, the voice never got closer. It just echoed from different directions. Then, they made a horrifying realization. There were no child-sized footprints in the cave. As panic set in, the voice suddenly stopped. Complete silence. When they reviewed the footage, they discovered the most disturbing part. The child's voice was captured on camera, but their own voices weren't. What were they really hearing? And why did it sound like it was coming from all around them? Number 6. The Whispering Wall. Cliffhanger ending. Inside the Cueva de los Tallos in Ecuador, an explorer was left shaking in fear after an encounter caught on video. As he walked along a narrow passage, his camera recorded a whisper. Clear, unmistakable, and close. He spun around. Nothing. But then, the whisper came again. Terrified, he bolted for the exit. But later, he made a horrifying discovery. The whispering wasn't random. It was speaking his name. And here's the part that will haunt you. The voice in the recording sounded just like him. If you're still watching, you clearly love this kind of mystery. Please subscribe, because hitting your subscribe button can give me new motivation to work harder and succeed. Now, number 5. The Crawling Horror. Unbelievable footage. A group of cave explorers in New Mexico's Lechuguilla Cave discovered something beyond disturbing. As they squeezed through an ultra-tight passage, their camera captured movement. But this was no ordinary cave creature. Something humanoid was crawling deep within the shadows, on all fours, moving unnaturally fast. They froze. Their breathing became erratic. The camera zoomed in, and that's when they saw it clearly. It had no eyes, just hollow sockets staring right at them. The figure moved toward them, fast. They scrambled to retreat, barely squeezing back through the tunnel. But when they reached the entrance and looked back, the passage was completely empty. Here's the part that still haunts them. The cave was sealed at both ends. So where did that thing go? Number 4. The breathing chamber. Impossible sound caught on tape. In Norway's Plura Cave, a group of deep cave divers recorded one of the most unsettling sounds ever heard underwater. At over 300 feet below the surface, in complete darkness, their cameras picked up a faint, rhythmic sound. Breathing. At first, they thought it was just the sound of their own oxygen tanks. But then, it sped up, matched their pace, as if something unseen was inhaling right beside them. Panicking, they shined their lights into the abyss. Nothing. But then one diver saw something that made his blood run cold, a reflection. But there was no one there to cast it. When they surfaced, they checked the audio recording. The breathing was still there, but now, it was whispering words in an unknown language. What was down there? And how did it know they were listening? Number 3. The man who disappeared. Real footage, no explanation. In 2021, an independent urban explorer ventured into a restricted cave system in Italy. He was live streaming his adventure, until something unthinkable happened. He turned a corner, and suddenly gasped. His camera began shaking violently. He started sprinting back the way he came, breathing heavily. "It's behind me!" he shouted before the feed cut to black. Authorities launched a search. But despite tracking his location to the exact cave chamber, he was gone. His gear was found intact, including the camera. But the last 5 seconds of footage were mysteriously erased. To this day, no one knows what he saw or where he went. Number 2. The phantom hands. Terrifying encounter in a collapsing cave. In the moaning caverns of California, a group of spelunkers faced a nightmare scenario. As they descended, a sudden cave-in occurred, trapping them inside. Dust filled the air, their lights barely cutting through the haze. Panic set in. That's when one of them felt something grab their ankle. Thinking it was a teammate, they reached out, but there was nothing there. Seconds later, another person screamed. They had felt the same thing, a tight grip on their wrist. Terrified, they reviewed the footage after their escape. In the grainy, dust-filled haze, they saw them, handprints appearing on the cave walls. But no bodies attached. Who, or what, was trying to pull them deeper? Number 1. The face in the dark, the most terrifying footage ever captured. This is the one that shocked the world. In 2015, an experienced caver went alone into Brazil's Casa de Pedra, known for its immense, eerie darkness. Hours into his exploration, his camera picked up something horrifying. In the distance, barely visible in the pitch black, was a pale face staring at him. At first, it didn't move, but then it smiled. His flashlight flickered. In that split second of darkness, he heard rapid footsteps rushing toward him. The video abruptly ended. His backpack was found just inside the cave entrance, but he was never seen again. To this day, the face in the footage remains unexplained. Some say it was just an illusion. Others believe he wasn't alone in that cave. What do you think? Were these just tricks of light and sound, or did these explorers stumble upon something we were never meant to see? Comment below with which cave encounter terrified you the most. And if you want more spine-chilling content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because remember, hitting your subscribe button can give me new motivation to work harder and succeed. And who knows, maybe the next footage we uncover will be even darker.